There at that forum, NBC's national security reporter Ken Dilanian there in Aspen. And Ken, I guess if you could read minds, if there were thought bubbles of folks that were sitting out there in the audience when those two statements came out, would have been, did they really say that? Were they really that candid, if you will, speaking to Wolf Blitzer there from CNN? But that happens when you're on panels sometimes.
Richard, I think there was a reaction of both amazement and also agreement here at this national security conference among both Republicans and Democrats. Those men, John Brennan and James Clapper, were articulating a view that I've heard privately from all quarters here, maybe not in such stark terms. And, you know, people may say, well, of course, President Obama's former security officials are going to criticize President Trump. Actually, no, this is not normal. It's rather unprecedented, especially for a 50-year career intelligence employee like James Clapper, who's served both Republicans and Democrats. There is deep disquiet here about where this Russia investigation is going and about Donald Trump's behavior toward Russia and Vladimir Putin. Just as one example, John Brennan lamented that Donald Trump, the President of the United States, said it was an honor to meet Vladimir Putin. The former CIA director said, wait a second, this is a man who hacked and meddled in our election. Why would it be an honor for the president to meet him? So a lot of angst here about Trump and Russia, Richard.
On Friday, there's also the reporting that you've been watching, the Washington Post, coming out from current and former officials saying that Attorney General Sessions did indeed speak with a Russian official about the campaign and potential policy movements or views from Donald Trump's inner circle. What do we know about that?
That's right. This is a story that's been brewing for a while, Richard. NBC News reported a while back that there were some questions about whether Jeff Sessions had an additional meeting that he hadn't disclosed at the Mayflower Hotel in 2016 with Sergei Kislyak. Now the Washington Post has advanced the story by saying there are intercepts that suggest that Kislyak told his bosses in Moscow that he had substantive conversations with Jeff Sessions, both at this Mayflower meeting and also at another meeting around the Republican National Convention. Now, Sessions adamantly denies that he had these conversations. And, of course, the fact that Kislyak told his bosses in Moscow that he did doesn't prove that they happened. But it is still a significant development, and it puts more pressure on Jeff Sessions to show that, in fact, he wasn't colluding with the Russian ambassador during this time.
And, Ken, let's move to another branch of government. The House and Senate have evidently agreed upon sanctions for Russia, and they've been stiffer, at least in view and in practice, than the White House.
Yeah, this has been brewing for some time, and today we've learned that there's an agreement. There will be a vote next week. This is a big development because this would bind Donald Trump's hands. It would make it much more difficult for him to withdraw the sanctions that the Obama administration put in place to punish Russia for that election hacking and some other sanctions involving Russia's seizure of Crimea, and it would impose some additional sanctions. And now Donald Trump is facing the prospect of, does he veto this bill that he doesn't like, or does he allow it to become law? And it's a real break between the Republicans in Congress and Donald Trump over Russia, Richard.
A veto, potentially an override thereafter. NBC's Ken Dilanian there in Aspen, Colorado at a security forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
All righty. Let's bring in Vivian Salama, White House reporter for the Associated Press. Also in